Hello everyone, it's me again, Nancy Finch, doing my usual Nan talk on a Monday. I hope you're okay, hope you're all well. I'd like to see how many people are going to join me today because most people are back at work. So it's a beautiful, beautiful Monday morning. I love Mondays. Mondays are fresh starts to the whole week and anything can happen. So yes, it's nice if you could join me. If not, and you're catching this later, I hope you just comment. Hi, Irene. How are you, honey? It's lovely to see you. And people are sharing this with their friends and family, which is really nice because then it can help everybody, can't it? All over the world, actually, which is really nice. What an honour. So, how did everyone get on with last week? Hi, Irene again. Basically, it was all about dreams. And most of my things... Hi, Gail. It's lovely to see you, darling. Oh, it's good. Glad you could join me live. That's lovely because I want you to play a little game later. And I love playing light-hearted games with ourselves because, I mean, in a sense, it's a good start to the week. It's a good practice of homework, you know, to make yourself feel better physically and emotionally. And I'm always going on about that, as people know. So last week was about dreams, and it linked beautifully with the one before that. All my Nan talks, and I think I've done this would be my 12th one, I think. Yes, so I've done a dozen. Well, I will have done a dozen today. How great is that? They all link together. You can use them individually. You know, you can think to yourself, I'll get myself a little notebook and I'm going to use it as a toolbox, and I'm going to have all these different things that I've been talking about. So maybe just one word might be enough, but it'll be things like chakras, sorted sunshine. These are all on different dates. You can catch them up, by the way, if you want to go on my website. So chakras, sorted sunshine, 3 Vs, 7-year cycle. That was interesting. Moving mantras, sticks, the wheel, understanding colour. Crossed it out. That was about worry. Paint the bell. Now that was about you getting off to sleep and activating your brain to release the hormones to make you sleep or relax. And of course, last week was dreams. This week, we're all about Polyanna. This is a lovely little exercise I like to use. I walk the talk. Everything I talk about, I use every day. And so I pick out whichever one I need. That's why I'm asking you to get a little notebook, because it's quite useful to open it up and think, which one do I need today? Because we need different things, different days, don't we? So today's about Polyanna. It's all about a storybook, really. I read many years ago. It was about this little girl, and there's a film being made of it as well. So this little girl, she loses her parents. I think I'll give you the rough idea of what it was about. But basically, she was orphaned. She goes to stay with her aunt, and her aunt wasn't very nice to her. She was quite horrible and cruel, and she'd often send her to bed with no tea, no food. And her father, Polyanna's father, had taught her to find something positive out of everything negative. You know, so basically she was hungry, waiting for food, couldn't have any. So she said, I know, I'll just remember what Dad taught me. And finding something positive was she knew that she would be having food in the morning. So she'd be more grateful for her food in the morning. So the Polyanna, I call it a positive out of a negative. The Polyanna would be, she's going to really appreciate her breakfast the next day. Well, I actually started to play a game with this, and I thought, I want 5 things for every one negative thing that I didn't like or something that was happening in my life. If I could find 5 things, it's going to take me more than 17 seconds to override the negative or whatever was going wrong. And everyone knows that's 17 seconds. I can always show you a bit more about that later. 17 seconds is what it takes to lock a positive thought into your body, into your mind, change the way your mind thinks, the synapses, the way it connects to a thought and a feeling, and by the law of attraction. So it's very good for you to think a positive thing for so many reasons. So when you're thinking of something you're not happy with, it's very easy for you to let that thought affect your mind and body. And we all know that worry and stress affects different parts of our body. Well, we've got to be disciplined. That thought doesn't make me feel good. And I feel powerless over that thought or that thing that's going on. And you might feel that you're not in control of it. That's not very nice. It makes you feel fear and worry and stress if you're unhappy with something. It has different effects on your body and it's not good for you. And as I say, you attract more of it because you're feeling and thinking that you don't want. So 5 things that are positive from a negative. And I'm going to show you how this works. I'll tell you a little story about a lady that came in to see me. And she was very unhappy about the weather. And she looked out at the skies and she said, look at those grey skies. I really hate those grey skies. I said to her, what's the Polyanna on the grey skies? I don't know, she said. I said, well, at least you can see them. There are lots of people who would love to see a grey sky. Blind people, people with problems, you know, their eyes don't work, or they can't see very far, you know, they've got eye conditions. They would love to see that grey sky. I mean, we take that for granted. We take a lot of stuff for granted. And what is another Pollyanna on that is that she's going to really appreciate the sunshine when it comes out. There's another, I mean, there's more, we can find another 3 if you like. But this is a game you play with yourself. How many positive things can you find in a negative situation? So there was another lady, I remember, who was complaining about her relationships, or certainly one in particular. And she was moaning about her fella she just moved in with. And apparently I said, well, what's wrong with him? Give me the problems and I'll give you the Pollyannas. So she said, she said, he's the meanest man I've ever met. He's so stingy with money. I said, well, what's the Pollyanna on it? She goes, I don't know. I said, well, I bet you he's not in debt. No, he's not, she said. How amazing is that? So now she's starting to value her choice of being with this person. Instead of looking at the negative, she's now looking at the positives that come from that. And so we went through another list of all the things that she was sort of complaining about with a situation in her new relationship. So how could she make that better? Just by turning it around. Wayne Dyer, one of my favourite people in the world, said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And it's true. You just change, you shift that feeling and that attention from what you don't want into what you do want. It's a very powerful thing to do, because then you're taking charge of it. And because you're thinking of something positive that's come from it, it no longer has any power over you, a negative power that would probably shut down your chakras or make you feel sad, or worst, actually attract more of it when you don't want that. So another lady, oh, this was lovely. This was a couple of Christmases ago, and I went into a shop and the shop assistant seemed sad. And I looked at her and I said, are you looking forward to Christmas? She said, no. She said, circumstances have changed. And I knew what she meant by that. I felt it, that she had just broken up from somebody. So I said to her, I'm going to teach her a little game. And I showed her how to use the Pollyanna. 5 things, that's a good thing that's happened from her breaking up from her fella. So we went through it. And lucky enough, the shop wasn't busy, so it was all right. And we basically talked about this. And I said, look, okay, so now you've got more time with your friends and family. Oh, yes, she said, I have. I said, and you'll save money because you don't have to buy all these family presents. We had a bit of a laugh about that one. But that's another thing. She could save her money. She could have more time for herself. You know, we went through the list before she knew it. Oh, and she'd know what she wanted next time in her relationship. And she'd grown stronger in herself. She'd found courage. Now, that was 5 things there. You can go have more than 5 if you want to. But at least 5 things had changed her attitude towards what happened to her. And she was really happy with that. She was like, oh, I didn't realise I could feel this good. Oh, that's really good, Gail. Thank you for that feedback. It is a good reframing. You know, it's very good because I'm going to be talking about my new life story at some point with everybody. But it's about shifting that thought into something that serves you, something that will make you feel better, happier. Okay. And if you play this game, it's really good fun to play it with somebody else as well. You know, like a friend, you hear a parent or a sibling, if anybody in your life that is moaning about anything, then just try and find a Pollyanna in it. A positive. What is a Pollyanna? And it's so much fun because the more you do it, the more the synapses in your brain will naturally go to a positive thing, and you will feel so much better physically and emotionally. You know, we all know that's very important right now. We need to keep our immune systems high, really good. And we can't do that if we're feeling down or lack in life. And quite often we could look anywhere. We could look into a garden full of flowers and weeds and just see the weeds. That's not good for us. That's just going to make us feel like we have more work to do in life. If we could look at the good things in life, then we are going to shift how we feel about everything. It's like having a balloon with helium, and it moves up, and you can start to attract more good things into your life. It's really powerful. I really want you to play with it. So, this shop assistant, it made me smile because I felt her energy change. I felt she was smiling, she was happy, and it didn't matter what was going on the outside. She was happy on the inside. And that's what really matters. Just always believe there's light at the end of the tunnel, says Irene. Oh, that's true. It's hope, but it's also it's gripping that thought, that feeling, that situation. And it's understanding that if you could turn it around, flip it, and find 5 things, this is all we have to do to change how we feel and what we attract. So if we could be objective about that and not judge it too much, if we don't judge anything as good or bad and just hold it up for a second, that's not making me feel good. What are the gifts in that? There are many gifts in it. And if you turn that situation around so you're seeing the positive, even in very harsh situations, one person I know of had to have his legs amputated, and you might think it was an accident, and you might think, so what is the positive in that? There are lots of positives. He learned to be strong in his sense of direction, and he wanted to be more mindful in his life. He stopped spending his energy on stuff that wasn't important, and he ended up being a very inspirational person, and he actually thanked himself for the gift of that situation, because he could find so many positives out of it. He was an inspiration to others. He learned what was important in his life. And he was very grateful to still be alive. I mean, there are lots of things that you can turn that around on. Whatever your situation is, if you're ill or you've got a problem, what have you learned from it? Maybe you're an inspiration to someone else, or maybe you have learned something about strength, or when on the good days that you are well, you have more energy and you really value those days, which is very powerful. So there's always a Polyanna, or at least one. I like to think of 5, as you know, on every situation. So if you want to interact with this, which would be really nice if you did, think, if obviously it's private, some stuff, but if you want to say, well, what about this situation or that, we could play a game of 5 things right now. So if there's anything that you think, that's been a bit of a challenge, bit of a problem. It might be no work. It might be no money. It might be whatever the problem is. It might be health. All those areas. It might be relationships. What are you going to do to take the value, the gift of it? You see, you won't be afraid of it. It won't have power over you if you could just flip it around. You're in control. You're the one that can make things happen just by doing that. And by the law of attraction, you are going to have more of those. My godmother, when she was going blind, said, I have had a great life and I will get on with life. Absolutely. Irene, that's lovely. It's about, even though she was losing her eyesight, even though she was going blind, she valued everything. Hi, Karen. It's nice that you've joined us. I don't know if you've only just joined us, but you can always rewind it and listen to some of the things I was saying about this Polyanna exercise. But going back to your lovely person, Irene, well, she learned how to stay in the moment, to value what she's got. And when her eyesight was failing, she still could move. She still could talk to you. She still had a mind. She valued what she had, and she valued what she'd seen. She'd valued all the things that we sometimes take for granted. Oh, hi, Susan. Oh, it's very sweet. She's so pleased to be here. I'm very pleased you're here too. I'd be talking to myself otherwise, wouldn't I? I do that a lot anyway. But if you could just interact a little bit now with me and that was lovely, Irene, that you said that. Just joined a second. Is there anything that you feel that you want to complain about? It could be even lockdown. That is a really good example. Pollyanna on that. Wow. There's loads more than 5. We've learned so much. Hi, Ellen. Lovely to see you. We're talking about Pollyanna exercise and finding things that we complain about, things that we're not happy about, and flipping them. Completely changing the way we think about it. So going back to lockdown, all those, I mean, there are negatives, obviously, but there's also positives. Hi, Adrian. It's lovely to see you. Great. It's good if you can play with some of the exercises I give you every week and perhaps give me some feedback. I had some lovely feedback last week over the dreams, and they're a bit more complicated. Hi, John. It's nice to see you. So any people that are playing with these exercises will see the benefit. And they're all coming from the book, The Choice is Mine, that I'm writing. It's taken a while to write because I find I'm very busy with other stuff, but there is lots of Polyannas in that one as well. Thank you, Karen. Dealing with the fear of a loved one's health. Yeah, okay. Well, the Pollyanna on that is you really value that person more because you don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so you're valuing that person. I know that feeling with my own son, actually. So you value that person, you value your time with that person. You make more time with that person. You think of ways to make that person happy, which is really good for you as well, you know. And you also show love. That person that you're talking about, you know, a loved one, is going to see you being completely loving and all that lovely energy. And you're releasing hormones with that as well, by the way. Oxytocin, you know, all the rest of them, you know, dopamine. All of it is all released in your body when you're showing love to somebody, you know. So if you could see the Polyannas in it, there are lots of Polyannas. Your loved one's going to know how much and value and measure it. And measure how much you love them. It's going to be a daily thing. Whatever it is, it's going to be something you'll look back on and you'll be proud of yourself for. I had that gift, and it might be patience. It might be trust. You know, you're going to really, if that person is okay and survives this problem, then you're going to appreciate that time with them even more. And that's why it's so important to keep yourself well. Because if you're worried about somebody or you're fearful, it's really going to affect these two areas of your body. Worry shuts that down. Fear shuts that down. Too much thinking shuts that down. We're having an effect on the 3 parts of our body to start with. We might be sad about it. That upsets your immune system. And so you see, they all interact. These feelings, these thoughts can have a negative effect on you if you don't take charge of them. Okay, so if some people on here are frightened of going back to work or, you know, what's the Pollyanna on that? Well, they're going to take charge of how they feel when they get there. If they don't want that work, if they discover that work is not good for them, maybe that will drive them forward to something else. So it's evaluating, perhaps, is that one gift, evaluating what's good for you, you know. And I mean, take the lockdown, for instance, it was so challenging for a lot of people, but so many gifts came out of it. You know, we understood ourselves more. We understand what we don't want, what we do want. We understand how important it is to be connected to another person or people or family. We never took that for granted. I don't think we'll ever take that for granted. But that was a huge gift. You know, a stranger in the street smiling at you from across the road, all understanding you had the same feelings. The connection was a great gift. You know, we have so many good things that have come from something bad. 5 good things at least can come from every situation that you are experiencing right now. Anything. So write this down, think about it. You know, something good from something bad. A Pollyanna. And you might want to actually watch the film, or you might want to get the book. I mean, I haven't got the book now, but I remember the story from years ago, and it did inspire me to think I have a choice over how I see it. When we're suffering from something, you know, some situation, we're suffering or we're worried or we're anxious or we've got pressure in our lives, what's the Pollyanna? You know, there are always Pollyannas, and help each other with that. I mean, if you want to come back to me and say to me, look, perhaps by a private message or, you know, something more convenient, and you come back to me and say, look, I've got this situation. Give me 5 things that are good about it. I can help you do that. But it's all about us using that time for ourselves to stop right there, to stop that thought, stop that worry. That's not making you feel good. And if something makes you feel good, it's bad for you and bad for others. We give out a vibe of worry. It's bad for collective consciousness as well, because everybody feels it. If somebody's worried or sad or frightened, it's going to have an effect. The vibe is going to have an effect on another person. And then we affect other people's energies. And if we could stay positive by changing, willingly moving that thought to 5 good things from it, we'll value everything that happens to us. We'll no longer be afraid of anything because we'll feel that there's always a reason why that happens, and we've learned this or we've got this. And that's how we can help each other on collective consciousness, because we give out a positive energy, and positive energies are higher and more effective than any negative. You know, they say it spreads further. So if you want to play this game, have a think about it. Is there any other situation, any other problem in your life that you need to address, and think, okay, I'm just going to play with that. What can I do with that? Okay, I've got this situation. Perhaps it doesn't look like it's going to go away, whatever it is. Then what have I gained? What's the gift? You know, what's the Pollyanna? What's the good thing that's come from it? And it might even be that you can relate to somebody else who's lost something, you know, someone or lost a situation, or marriage is broken up, or whatever it is. You will be able to relate to that person. You'll know how it feels. You'll have empathy. You might be able to do something practical to help. You'll get stronger. You'll get happier. You know, if you share that idea with other people, you'll be a great service to them. And tell them it's coming from my book, because when the book's written, it's going to have over 70 exercises, and the Pollyanna is just one of them. I love the Pollyanna, and I always use it. So is there anybody else that's got any challenges or anything that made them feel less than happy? If there's anyone wants me to help them out with a Pollyanna right now, it would be lovely to share that. But just remember, I mean, the story of the women with the skies, the grey skies, we take stuff for granted. We always do. We move around. I always am very grateful on whatever day, good days, bad days. It doesn't matter. I'm grateful for the fact I've woken up. I'm still here. I can see, I can hear. I'm always so grateful for that. I'm grateful for the tiniest things. When I could look around my house or my life and think, that needs doing and that needs doing and that's awful, and it wouldn't serve me to do that. It wouldn't make it get done any better, and it only hurt my own chakra energy. That's not going to do any good. So I always look at the flowers, not the weeds. But if you do find you're surrounded by weeds in life, then just change your approach to it. Some weeds are beautiful. You know, if you had a whole garden full of weeds and you had to clear them out, metaphorically, in your life, then aren't you going to feel great when they're gone? Aren't you going to appreciate the time and maybe the patience it took to do it? Aren't you going to value your garden after this? All the hard work it takes to change something is always worth it. And this is a lovely, playful little exercise that you can play kind of with your inner child almost, you know? So you think, what's bad? What's upsetting me? Where's the 5 things that are positive from it? The Pollyanna, okay? I hope all of you can play with this. It's really, really powerful. And if you want to go back and check on anything that I've done before, like I gave you a list earlier of all the NAN talks I've done, you've been part of it, then they're all on my website, www.nancyfinch.co.uk. And you can always go and find me on YouTube as well. So if you want to have a look at any of those, you can see which ones suit you, because every day is a different day. You might need a Pollyanna today, you might need Sorted Sunshine tomorrow, or Understanding Colour. They all link together. They can be used all in one day if you like, but you'll find that one really resonates with you and you'll think, that's the one I want to use today. So, but the Pollyannas, something happens, change it. Change the way you see it. As Wayne Dyer said, and I'll repeat, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. You know, perhaps your car is a puncher. You think, where's the Pollyanna in that? You get a time to sit still. You're giving the man that comes out to help you from the rescue people coming out to get you, and they're going to sort the wheel out. You've made his day. You've given him a job. That's 2. So you're still. You're giving him a job. You'll appreciate it when you're back on the road. You know, there's got to be a couple more in there, but it might just be that you get a chance to really evaluate your life. When you're doing the Pollyannas, you're changing things, and you're smiling about it and then you're calmer in your body because you're no longer reacting from a place of dissatisfaction or fear or anger or worry or pressure or all those things that actually really don't do you any good. They're great to compare with, like the grey skies. You know, you feel that feeling, don't reject it, just be aware of it. What can I do to change it? I'm going to do a Pollyannas. There's lots of ways you can do this to distract yourself or to change the way you look at things. But this Pollyanna thing is a lovely game. And if you could play it with your family and friends, they are going to be very grateful to you. Because, as I say, it becomes a game, a light-hearted way of looking at things. And you become happier from that. More in the moment. We accept what we can't change and change what we can. And we can change our minds on how we see it. Super to spend time with you too, Gail. It's lovely. Oh, I'm go in the garden to weed. That's very good. And what's the Pollyanna if you find you've got an achy back afterwards? Well, you've done so much before you got the achy back. And you've got something to show for it. And you've inspired next door to do theirs. You know, there's lots of ways. And that's just 3. I'm sure you can find another 2. And maybe you'll feel stronger from that, or your muscles will feel stronger from that. And you'll have a better garden. There you go. There's 5 straight away. But if everyone can just have a little play with that, I'd love to have your feedback. Because, as I say, I don't... It'd be nice to have some reflection about how you use this. Because, you know, it would be great for the book, okay? I can interact with you here and then incorporate that in the book. Love it. Oh, so good. Oh, thank you, Gail. That's so nice. I love being here talking to you because it's my way of just reaching out and connecting to you and sending you all love. And that's what I do. I send it. I basically wish you all well. And wellness is what we deserve, isn't it? So change the way you look at things. You can change the things you look at. The things you look at change. That's a bit of a tongue twister, that, isn't it? So take this example, take everything that's happened to you and change the way you see it. It's going to make you, like the noise outside the window right now, that's hilarious. I wanted it to be nice and quiet and it's far from that at the moment. But it means I'll appreciate the peace when it comes. And so will you next week. Hopefully that won't be there. So have fun with this. It's a namaste moment and lots of love. And oh, on Friday, my downstairs shower and toilets flooded. I got it sorted Friday afternoon. I knew it'd be sorted. Oh, I can't finish the rest of that off there. I can't quite see that. But I know, oh, thank you, Karen. You felt satisfied. You gave him a job. He would be out of a job if he didn't have your place to sort out. You appreciate your place a lot better now because, you know, we take our home for granted too. And when that gets sorted, we think, I'm really grateful I'm here, or that looks good now, or that's inspired me to do that job, or whatever. There's another few Pollyannas in that situation. So if you could take that, play with that, and then see how you feel, measure it. Measure how you feel inside, because that's going to be a really nice thing. You might find that you naturally have more energy, and certainly those positive thoughts will have an effect on all those chakra areas, okay? It might be the prevention of illness as well, because once these chakras are open and working, everything's great. Just what I needed at the moment, Susan said. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's really good validation, and I really appreciate your words. Thanks, John. So have a little play with this and teach your family and friends how to look at the positives, the Pollyannas. Every time you catch yourself wanting to complain about something, what's the Pollyanna? Take charge of it. And there might, even if you only get one thing, it's better you have at least one to take you away from that thought that may have hurt you, or certainly attracts more of it. That's definite. So if I moan about something, I'll always have more of it come into my life, okay? So our time is up, and please share this with everybody. And as I say, have fun. Next week, we are going to do the coat of many colours. This was a really nice one I made up. It's for protection. I know it's a very interesting word, that, but on days where you feel less confident with something, with a situation. Hi, Jane. Nice to see you, hon. Perhaps you can rewind this and watch it again. But the coat of many colours next week is going to be about how you, a bit like using colour, but you're going to use a stronger intention of protection inside a safe environment. And I'm going to explain how that works next week. But again, it's about a vibe you give out from feeling good on the inside. So if you want to join me next Monday, hi Sophie, lovely to see you. Give yourself a big hug from me. Yeah, so next week, as I say, it's going to be fun. I think we've got the meditation after that, which is really good, the day after, I think. So the monthly meditation, the full moon. So it's going to be quite interesting to see. Perhaps next week you do need that coat, because as the full moon brings up all sorts of feelings, you may wish to use this exercise when you're mixing with people or when you're out and about. So lots of love to you all, and I hope that you enjoyed this. Please give me some feedback about how you feel when you use it, and share it. And I shall see you next Monday. Okay? Lots of love to you all. Take care. Bye.